Army Cadet 1-star training, Fieldcraft, personal admin, revision. What would you pack in a Fieldcraft wash kit? Small or folding toothbrush, travel size toothpaste, hand body cleaner or gel or wet wipes, small flannel and towel, odorless deodorant. Boys also need razor and shave gel or lotion. Girls also need sanitary items. What other small kits do you need to pack in your Fieldcraft kit? Personal first aid kit, boot cleaning kit, sewing kit. Personal admin. Aim. By the end of this lesson, you will be aware of the things you need to do to look after yourself, your clothing and your equipment so you can be self-sufficient when out in the field. Introduction. Fieldcraft relies a lot on teamwork, but each individual must be able to look after themselves, their clothing and their equipment to be effective. Packing the correct items is a good start, but knowing how and when to use them is essential. Looking after yourself and your kit is known as personal admin and can be anything from brushing your teeth right through to replacing a button on a combat smock. Looking after yourself, your clothing and your equipment. There are a few important things you need to be able to do to look after yourself when out in the field. Personal hygiene, washing and brushing your teeth, etc. Personal first aid, cleaning and treating small cuts and grazes, etc. Foot maintenance, cleaning your feet, putting on fresh socks and treating blisters, etc. Reacting to changes in weather, wearing the correct clothing and eating and drinking enough of the correct things. Food preparation, hygienic and safe food preparation. Maintaining your clothing and equipment, looking after and repairing items. Personal hygiene. Looking after your personal hygiene is extremely important to avoid infections or illness. Remember the following. Hair should ideally be kept short to allow treatment of any head injuries and to prevent parasites. It should be washed at least once per week. Body needs to be washed daily. Ensure areas where sweat can build up, such as armpits and groin, are cleaned to avoid rashes or fungal infections. Use showers when on camp, but use a flannel or wet wipes when out in the field. Teeth need to be cleaned twice per day and, if possible, after meals. Face, wash daily. Boys also need to shave daily. Sanitation. Only use the toilets provided on the training area and make sure to clean your hands thoroughly after use. Personal first aid kit and foot maintenance. Personal first aid is the treatment of minor injuries such as small cuts and grazes. If you have anything more than that, you should seek treatment from a qualified first aider. Having medication such as paracetamol in your first aid kit is fine if your parents have provided it along with permission to use, but any prescription medication should normally be handled by the staff who are leading your training. If in doubt, ask. Remember the following. Cuts and injuries. Make sure these are kept clean and fresh plasters or dressings are applied regularly. Feet. Keep clean, dry and powdered to avoid blisters or infections. Keep toenails short to avoid ingrowing toenails. Change socks daily. Reacting to changes in weather. When operating out in the field, the weather can change drastically in a short space of time. It is therefore important to remember the following. Pack for all weather conditions. It may be a nice warm day when you leave home or camp, but the temperature may drop or it may rain later in the day. Temperatures at night can be considerably colder, so be prepared. React to changes in temperature and activity. On a colder day, wearing several layers to keep warm on sentry duty is fine, but if you're then asked to go on patrol and the sun breaks through the cloud, you will need to lose layers quickly to avoid overheating. Cold weather. Dangers of being cold. Being cold when out in the field can be extremely miserable, but if you get too cold and your body temperature drops below 35 degrees, you may well develop hypothermia. If ignored, hypothermia can become fatal. How to stay warm. Maintain body temperature by having plenty of hot food and drinks. Wear appropriate clothing, loose and in layers. Add layers to stay warm, or lose layers if body temperature increases through exercise or changes in weather. Wear waterproofs as soon as needed to help keep clothes dry. Avoid cold injuries and improve comfort by protecting extremities, fingers, toes, ears and nose, with hat, gloves and scarf. Keep clothing and socks dry. Change wet items as soon as possible. Protect exposed skin such as your lips with items like lip salve. Hot weather. Dangers of hot weather. Being hot when out in the field can be uncomfortable, but getting too hot and dehydrated can lead to heat exhaustion. If your body temperature gets above 40 degrees, you may well develop heat stroke, which if ignored can become fatal. Exposing uncovered skin to the sun can also lead to sunburn. How to stay cool. Maintain body temperature and stay hydrated by drinking at least 5 or 6 full water bottles of water each day. That's 5 to 6 litres. A bush hat gives good cover to head, face and neck. Wear appropriate clothing, loose and in layers. Remember to lose layers if your body temperature increases. The lightweight combat jacket is a good substitute for the full combat smock, but make sure your sleeves are rolled down. How to stay cool continued. Avoid exposing skin to the sun. Keep covered up where possible and apply sun cream to any exposed areas such as face and neck. Use a high factor such as 30 to 50. In extreme heat, slow down any physical movements. If temperatures get too high, all training should be stopped. Ration packs contain energy drinks that contain essential salts and sugars. Use these to replace what you lose when exercising. Avoid any non-issued energy drinks such as Red Bull or Monster style energy drinks, as these can be dangerous if you are dehydrated. Continue to eat regular meals. Food preparation. Full details on how to prepare meals properly is given in another lesson, but the following rules always apply to minimize the risk of becoming ill. Clean hands before handling any food. Only use food from ration packs. Don't supplement with anything else. Clean mess tins and eating utensils after every use. Throw all rubbish away in designated areas or keep your own rubbish bag. Don't leave any food stuff out as it may attract insects and rodents. Always keep your cooking area clear and tidy. Only drink issued, safe water. In emergencies only. Puritabs in ration packs make water safe to drink. Water can also be boiled for 10 minutes to make it safe to drink. Any scum formed on the top must also be removed. These techniques are handy to know if you are ever in a situation where you're desperate for water, but are not without risk, so should only ever be a last resort. Looking after your clothing. Looking after your clothing will make a difference on how you feel and also minimise the risk of becoming ill due to wet or damaged clothing. All clothing worn or packed must be clean and in good condition. Only pack essential spare clothing and make sure it is kept in waterproof bags. You can use simple plastic bags or specific dry bags. Change socks and underwear daily. Pack waterproofs and use them as soon as needed to keep your main clothes dry. If your clothing gets wet, change into dry clothing and keep the wet clothing separate. It may be possible to dry damp clothing using body heat by leaving it at the bottom of your sleeping bag overnight. This works with damp clothing but not wet clothing. Looking after your equipment. Equipment such as webbing, sleeping bags, etc. also need to be maintained. Remember the following. Check zip on sleeping bag, make sure it's been aired and keep it waterproof. Check straps, clips, buckles, etc. on all carrying equipment. The following items can be useful for looking after your equipment and for repairs. Dry bags, paracord, bungees, sniper or cloth tape. Personal weapons must be kept with you at all times and should be kept clean and well maintained. Summary. Good preparation and maintenance of yourself, your clothing and your equipment can make the difference between a great Fieldcraft experience and a miserable one. Dealing with your personal admin in this way will also allow you to interact with the rest of your squad and play a vital role within the team. It will also help to avoid injuries and illness. Practice and confirmation. How often should you brush your teeth? Twice per day and after meals if possible. How often should you change your socks and underwear? Every day. Change socks more often if they get wet. What is the danger of getting too cold? Hypothermia. What is the danger of getting too hot? Heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and sunburn. When should you use Puritabs or boil water to make it safe to drink? In an emergency only.